Hello, scrapbookers. This is Megan, and I am back today with a new cut to you layout. So I have these 4 cut files and these 2 photos of my scrappy bestie, Hannah Lemieux, who came to visit me this year in September. I had this photo from her birthday because she did visit me over her birthday week. And her and I had dressed up really nice, put makeup on, had fun getting all dolled up. And we went out to a really nice restaurant that I have never been to. And I was super excited to try. And we had so much fun. So here you can see I am trying to figure out which papers I want to use. I have the Auburn Lane collection, and I've used quite a bit of the papers. And the background that I wanted to use was a very different pink than the 6x8 pads, the pinks that I had left from that. And so I was having a little bit of a hard time deciding what I wanted to use to back the photos. Or not the photos, sorry, to back the cut files. So here I have decided that I'm going to add these florals from a pattern paper to kind of embellish along with the cut files. And I'm finally going to decide on the papers that I want to use to back the cut files. So I had this green, and it was a really pretty green. So I'm going to trace the outsides, and I'm going to trace all of the leaves and then turn it over and realize, crap, I traced them the wrong way. So I'm not going to make you watch all of this. So this is where I realize, oh crap, I traced the wrong side. So in the end, I am, and you're not actually going to see it because I do the gluing off camera, but I decide that I'm just going to kind of glue all of the cardstock down to the leaf part and then just cut around it and then fussy cut. And that way worked out pretty easily. I don't normally do it that way. Normally I trace and then cut and then glue down. So this was quite a bit different than my normal fussy cutting, or not fussy cutting, my normal cut file backing routine. Okay, so now here you can see I have finished backing all of the cut files, at least the floral cut files. And so now I'm just layering all of the florals where I want them behind the photos. And I'm going to play around with the title and a little embellishment cluster under the title. So Happy Times is it was the title that I definitely wanted to use, but I needed it to be more. And for now, I'm just going to leave it at Happy Times, and I'm going to embellish underneath it a little bit. I'm going to think about it for quite a while, but I'm going to leave it this way. I'm not going to back Happy Times, and I really like how that turns out. It kind of makes the title stand out separately from the other cut files. Now here I am cutting apart this 3rd floral piece because I thought it would look good to add a few more florals down here at the bottom. So I'm going to cut a few of those off. In the end, I'm only going to use, I think, 2 of them, and it just kind of makes the cluster a little bit more, I don't know what you call it. I don't know. My brain is almost ready to shut off. It's only 7 o'clock at night. So I do decide to add a floral up there above the title, and that looks so, like, I absolutely love how that looks. Turns out awesome. So here I have 3 florals down there in that bottom cluster with that big floral, and I'm liking it, but at the same time I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't look the greatest. So I'm going to kind of play around and mess around with the placement of them down there. Here I am going to start spelling out the word celebrate, and I am using a gold alpha, and I really, really love how this looks. So I'm just going to spell out the word, and then I'm going to put it right above the Happy Times cut file, and that works out so awesome, and I think that's just perfect. So that is what my title is going to be, Celebrate Happy Times. This is where I'm going to start gluing down all of the pieces on this layout. And it's kind of funny, in the right hand corner you can see that I'm talking to Hannah. I didn't even realize that my phone was in frame, so that's kind of funny. But yeah, we like to FaceTime and chat and everything, and scrapbook sometimes while we chat. So this layout, I think, took me like 2.5 hours because we were chatting a lot, and so I had to edit this one down a ton because there were so many times when I was just sitting there chatting and not scrapbooking. But that's what's awesome about having scrappy friends, right? You can just FaceTime and chat while you scrap. So I did cut a piece of that floral that's off to the left of the photo, and so I'm adding it down there to this little cluster that's under the title, and that works out super awesome. And I'm going to kind of change that up actually towards the end of the layout, and it's going to look a lot different than it does right now. But for now, this is what I'm going with, and I'm really happy with how this turns out. I absolutely love this layout. So I decide to put one of the pattern flowers that I cut from the paper down in that floral cluster on the right hand side by the photo. Now here I am just adding some Tombow mono glue to the title, and I'm going to glue that down. I think I glued it kind of crooked. I was a little annoyed, but oh well. It's all good. I wasn't thinking it was going to be so hard to glue down this title, but it just kind of wanted to lay where it did. And so I was like, who cares if it's not amazingly perfect, but it looks okay. Maybe it was the photo that I glued on crooked. I think that must have been what it was. So now here I'm going to glue down the photo and the rest of these floral pieces up in that top left-hand corner. And this is where I glue my photo crooked, and you can see I try to pick it up, but the glue that I have, the refill that's in there right now, I think it must be like melted or something, because it does not work like it normally does. Normally you have a couple of minutes that you can pull, your photos or your papers back up after putting the glue down. Well, this like totally rips the paper lately, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I think I need to take it back to Michael's and be like, this does not work. And it totally looks like it's been melted or something. It's really weird. So yeah, here I'm going to put some fun foam down on this cut file. And I really love how that gives this cut file so much dimension, and it just kind of pops it off of the page. Now here I am going to fuss around with this bottom floral cluster for quite a while. It just was throwing me for a loop, and I do not know why. So I am going to just fuss and fuss. I'm not going to make you watch it all because it seriously takes forever for me to decide what to do with it. I'm going to put down the title while I'm trying to decide what I want to do with that. And that works out beautifully. I just love the title. I think it looks so awesome. So simple. Lately, the key with me is simple, which is hilarious because this layout is anything but simple with all of the cut files and the florals and everything. right there you could see that I had pulled off that bottom cut file because I was just thinking, well, it's so big, like, is it taking away from the photo? But when I took it away and I tried just sticking with the pattern paper florals, it just didn't look right. I feel like this floral kind of circles, envelopes, oh my goodness, that's not the word I wanted. Envelops, maybe? I don't know. It just frames. That's the word I was looking for. It frames the photo and it just totally brings your attention to the photo, which is what I wanted. And we are celebrating Hannah, and I wanted this layout to be all about just happiness and pretty things, and it turned out so awesome, and I absolutely love how it looks. So here you can see I am deciding to cut off those floral, or not the floral, the leaves of that floral cut file. And the reason I did that was I feel like it was just too long, and it was, I don't know, it just wasn't working with how I wanted it to flow. And so I'm going to add the leaves to this cluster over here underneath the title. And that works out awesome. And I absolutely love how that looks. So I'm going to glue all of those down. And like I said, I'm trying to pull up these pattern paper pieces that I had glued down in this cluster, but that paper, or the glue, did not want to come up. And I was just getting really frustrated because it wasn't letting me put these leaves where I wanted them. Then this is where I'm like, okay, the leaves are a little bit more dimensional than the paper, obviously. So I'm going to grab some of my medium-sized dots, and I am going to put 2 of those on the pattern papers and then glue those back down. And then that makes them the same height as the leaves. And that worked out perfectly. Now I'm going to glue down this floral cut file, and I'm going to glue that pattern paper floral down as well. And then I think that's going to be the end of this layout. Here I do kind of fuss around a little bit with these 2 florals, and then I'm just going to put them there, and I'm going to glue down this little daisy down in this cluster under the title. And let's see, I think that's it. Now here I am going to add a few more embellishments from the collection. I did find a couple pieces that I wanted to add. I was trying to add these paper clips. They're the rose gold paper clips from this collection. What is this collection called? It is, oh goodness, I can't even remember what it's called now. It's an autumn one, and it was from last year, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I bought a huge, huge collection kit from Christina. This little arrow says friends always, I think. And so I'm going to put it there on top of that cut file. I'm going to add some enamel dots, and I'm trying to decide if I want to add these little pears. I thought they were super cute, and we are about to go eat dinner, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna add them. So I did add them. I only had 2 of them, so I only added them in 2 of the clusters, which is fine. It works out and it looks cute, and I like it. Here is where I'm going to add the enamel dots, and then that is going to be the end of my layout. I will add some lines for journaling underneath the title, and I do that off camera. So make sure you stay around to see the photos of the finished layout. I will catch you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!